Moore.
Here.
O'Kane.
Here.
Shaner. Here. Scott.
Here.
Waters.
Here.
Can we stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
In the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up are Building and Housing Code Board, Willie Delfs will be rescheduled. Okay. Museum Board of Trustees, Rachel Barnum. Rachel, tell us a little bit about why you want to serve again.
I have been involved with the museum in many different positions over the years. I've been a volunteer, I've been an educator. I'm just very much endeared to the museum. And I would like to continue that participation as a member of the board. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll notice on my application, I didn't put any of the members of the staff down. I did not feel that was appropriate because as an overseer on the board, I didn't think that that would allow me to be a very clear overseer. If they were recommending me, that would be kind of a conflict of interest. So none of my recommendations are from the museum because I've had such close ties in the past.
Okay.
Sam.
Questions?
I was so
thank
happy
you.
to apply. I think you'd be a great fit for it. I don't know many people in Sioux City that have a broader knowledge of historical happenings, so I was pleasantly surprised to see you apply. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. O'Kane.
Thank you. Thank you. Let you know.
Thank you.
Don Duzick. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve.
I'm retired from Briarcliff College, Western Iowa Tech, and I've been on the Museum's Historical Association board for several years and do a lot of work at the Pierce Mansion. And I think it would be good to have somebody on the Board of Trustees that has served on the other associations with the museum.
Questions? You okay with the Briarcliff guy applying?
You bet. I'm just glad when they apply.
Okay, good. I just want to make
doubt.
sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, from the Briarcliff guys by
Appreciate
the
it.
Morningside
Right,
guys.
right.
So.
Uh-huh.
All right, thanks, Don.
You bet.
Appreciate it. Jim Tillman.
Good afternoon. Glad to be here. I'm Jim Tillman. I think I've done a little bit of history. This is what I do full-time. Obviously, the expertise is African-American history, but certainly not limited to that. I think this would be a good step for me. More importantly, it's a good step for the city. Sioux City has tri-state history, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, and I have formed alliances with the Iowa African History Museum, the South Dakota African American History Museum in Sioux Falls and in Cedar Rapids. And also part of my goal with my books, not only get them across Sioux City, but more importantly, and just as importantly, get them across the state of Iowa. Because what I write about is an African-American story, which is a Sioux City story, which is an Iowa story, which is an American story. So I wake up every day doing history, and anyway, I'm excited to be here.
Great.
Questions?
Are you going to have time in between the book signings? Because you've got 2 books I've seen circulating. Will you have time to serve?
Absolutely.
My second question would be, one thing that I've heard a lot of with criticism of the museum, I think we all can agree that we have a great museum that has a lot of information in it, a lot of displays in it, but there's not a wide a range of cultural displays. What are your ideas for or how we can show off more of that? Where do you feel like our museum is deficient, in other words?
That's a good point. About 4 years ago, I was pretty upset with the museum. You know, where's the, Black History exhibit, but I understand it's a public entity, yet at the same time, I think I can incorporate some ideas that other museums are doing and just some of my own ideas. We all have different experiences, so it's not just everybody's same shared experience. So I think it's important to have the Black experience, the Native experience, the Hispanic experience, and so on and so on. But that would be one thing. And then also, I think I could add a little creativity to the programming. Been involved with the museum for a few years, doing some programs there, and we always want everybody in town to come. Well, everybody in town, usually has something else to do, or the weather, and that type of thing. So, yeah, and Sioux City, I mean, it's grown in quite a bit in the last 4 years as far as inclusion, diversity. So that's a good thing. But no, this is time to show the state of Iowa that we have some culture here in northwest Iowa.
Appreciate the application.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chip.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to the consent agenda, which is items 3 through 10B today. You can consider these items passed unanimously unless a separate roll call vote is requested by a council member. If you want to speak on an item, please come up as I read that number and remember to state your name and address. If you want to speak on an item not on the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. I'll move that.
Second.
3 is a reading of the city council minutes of February 3rd, 5th, and 6th, 2024. 4 is a resolution authorizing fire rescue to apply for an assistance to firefighters grant from the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, for decontamination washers. 5 is an actions adopting construction documents. A is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the fiber optic project. B is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the sidewalk infill project. 6 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution approving a service provider agreement with environmental hazards services for the Healthy Homes Production Grant and the Community Development Block Grant. B is a resolution approving a development and minimum assessment agreements with HCI Real Estate Company for property at 1005 4th Street. C is a resolution approving a contract to SGH Red Glaze Holdings for the Convention Center call wall panel replacement project. I got an email. Mike, is this yours? Where's Mike at? Who's it, Mike? Is this your project or Stan?
Or Jessica, maybe.
Or Jessica? I got an email, but it came when I was in all these meetings today. Is it something somebody asking us to hold award today?
Yes, Jessica Johnson, City Manager's Office. I forwarded you a citizen concern email regarding it. Another potential bidder who didn't get the bid in on time that we emailed you about previously, emailed asking for council to delay it.
But they didn't bid.
He did, no, he didn't have all the required documentation and bid bond and things submitted to us by the deadline.
Okay. All
So
right.
he was asking to delay it.
Well, you can't accept a bid that's late, so you have to throw out this bid and rebid.
Yep.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just saw it and I didn't get a chance to read it. It's so late. So. D is a resolution approving the development and minimum assessment agreements with Frontline Development and Siouxland Splash for land in the combined Floyd River urban renewal area, the property at 3820 Highway 75 North.
Mayor, Marty Doherty, Economic and Community Development. I did want to correct one line in the RCA, that the balance of the land payment would be over 10 years. It's actually over 5 years, and that's correct in the development agreement. But as Dan pointed out to me, it was an error on the RCA, so
Okay, well,
it doesn't change the amount.
we're
the total.
approving the development agreement, so we should be okay.
Okay. Thanks, Marty.
Thank you. 7 are actions authorizing payments. A is a resolution authorizing payment to HCI Construction for the Fire Station 8 addition and remodel project. B is a resolution approving payment to Brett Udell for snow removal in the Central Business District. A is actions relating to property. A is a resolution proposing to sell property adjacent to 405 South Nicollet Street. The petitioner is Georgia Muhlenberg. B is a resolution proposing to sell property adjacent to 404 and 408 South Cleveland Street. Excuse me. The petitioner is Douglas and Pamela Harris. C is a resolution proposing to sell property adjacent to 343 South Nicollet Street. The petitioner is Georgia Muhlenberg. D is a resolution proposing to sell property adjacent to 350 South Cleveland Street. The petitioner is Michael Feltz. E is a resolution proposing to sell property adjacent to 400 South Cleveland Street. The petitioner is Michael Feltz. F is a resolution proposing to sell property adjacent to 4444 Dace Avenue. The petitioner is Michael Feltz. G is a resolution proposing to sell property adjacent to 400 South Cleveland Street and 4444 Dace Avenue. The petitioner is Michael Feltz. H is a resolution proposing to sell property adjacent to 400 South Cleveland and 4444 Dace Avenue. The petitioner is Michael Feltz. I is a resolution inviting proposals for the sale of land in the Donner Park urban renewal area and fixing the date of receipt of proposals. Property at 6,000 block of Al Haynes Drive and 6,100 block of South Bridge Drive. I'd like to move to amend this. Is this the airport deal, right? I'd like to amend I know, Marty, you're probably going to tell me I don't need to do this, but it's important to me. The successful bidder will show proof of financing for the project within 30 days of the award.
Second.
We don't need speculation on land. We need development. And we've had some speculation lately rather than development.
O'Kane.
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
J is a resolution proposing to sell property adjacent to 1211 West 5th Street. The petitioner is Isabella Square Developers. 9 are applications for beer and liquor license. See the list. Do you have any questions? 10 are boards, commission, and committee minutes. Anybody want to be heard on any of those? If not, we'll vote. Passes 5-0. Recommendations of P&Z. 11 is an ordinance vacating a portion of South Leonard Street to 314 South Leonard Street and 314 and a half South Leonard Street. P&Z recommends approval. The first consideration approved on February 5th. And this is Brad Steele.
I'll move that.
What's that?
I'll move that.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
Abstain. Conflict of interest.
Waters.
Aye.
Moore.
Abstain, conflict of interest.
O'Kane.
Aye.
12 is a hearing resolution announcing the intent to accept one of the proposals submitted for land in the combined Floyd River urban renewal area and scheduling a hearing at property at 3100 Floyd Boulevard. The motion is requested to defer this item to February 26th. I'll move that.
Second.
Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
13 is a resolution authorizing the fire chief to fill vacant EMT, paramedic, and lead paramedic positions with firefighter positions through attrition and retirements. Somebody can move it.
I mean, I'll move it just for the sake of discussion, yeah.
So,
Second.
Chief, we'd have to amend this if we were to do the 15 or whatever your number is.
Right, the original one, I think, was requested that the whole operational division of the EMS division be replaced by firefighters overtime, whereas now we are capping that at 15 positions. We've already done 4, so number 14, we're asking for 11 more firefighter positions.
I would move that it be capped at 11 additional firefighters.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Waters?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
O'Kane?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye. 14 is a resolution amending the statement of authorized personnel complement by deleting. Oh, I'm sorry, we got to vote on the regular. Yeah, my bad, my bad.
Is there anybody else?
Well, they want to be heard.
Is there anyone else that
Anyone
wanted to
else be
speak
heard?
on this?
We got to do it now because we haven't voted on the actual amendment, so, or amended motion.
Amended motion.
Okay,
Doesn't look like it.
now on the amended motion.
Moore?
Aye.
O'Kane?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Now, Chief, you're going to have to help us on this one because that's going to
Gotta
be different
change the
too, so I don't
position.
know what you're going to
Yeah.
have left. But 14 is a resolution amending the statement of authorized personnel complement by deleting 3 EMS medical technician positions and 8 paramedic positions and adding, okay, you did get this changed.
Yes, I did.
Okay, and then adding 11 firefighter positions to the fire department. I'll move that.
Second.
Sorry
O'Kane?
about that, I didn't.
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Thank you, council.
Thanks, Chief.
Greenville Floyd Golf Course presentation.
John Burns, Recreation Superintendent. Council, I just want to introduce Scott Harmelink with the Green Valley Golf Board Association as part of their semi-annual presentation for their lease agreement.
John. What's up, Scott?
Always got the nicest handouts.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Dan.
Hello, City Council. I'm Scott Harmelink. I'm the PGA Director of Golf at Green Valley and Floyd Park Golf Courses. It's a pleasure to be here today. As requested, I have the price list for 2024 for both golf courses here. As you can see on the first page there is Green Valley. Second page, pricing for Floyd Park is on page 2. And page 3 is the breakdown of our season passes. We have a variety of season passes that people can purchase. I don't know if there's any questions on the price list there that you might have.
And I think we talked last time you were up here, Scott, just about increases or when you've experienced those or anything like that.
Yeah,
Do you want to talk about what historically that's been?
Sure. These are the same prices as 2023. Typically, every 3 to 4 years, we'll usually have a price increase between 7 and 10%.
Yeah.
Next year would be the third year. I don't know if it'll be a board decision if my board decides that they feel a price increase is warranted. We would do that at that time. But it would be the third year of it. I don't think we're going to raise prices for 2025.
Okay, questions?
Yep. Is there any other questions from anyone else? If not, I've also included a copy of our balance sheet and our P&L statement from 2023. I know that's a lot to look through, but I'll let you look through it for a moment, and if anybody has any questions with that.
Scott, is there anything you want to point out to us on that?
Not really, no. It's,
Business as usual?
Pardon me?
Business as usual?
Business as usual, yeah. And on the very last page, this is what we're planning to do for some capital improvements. We're going to be installing what's called Visage, or VISAGE is the name of the company. They provide us with the 10-inch LCD touchscreens. You probably, for those of you that play golf, maybe you've seen those at other courses. Typically, it's not often that you would expect that amenity at a public golf course, a daily fee course, or a municipal course. So we're happy to be able to provide that for our customers. We are going to be installing new surveillance equipment, cameras and DVRs will be installed at both Green Valley and Floyd golf courses. Especially at Floyd course, the cameras that we have up there are about 15 years old, and they're just not working very well anymore. So we're going to be doing that. That should increase our security at both golf courses. Currently, as of today, we're removing some problem trees out there, lots of trees. I didn't list them all, but there were 2 very large trees behind 9 green and 18 green, and we've struggled with those 2 greens in the last couple of years, and we had the USGA come out in October of 22 to take a look at some of the golf courses and give us some suggestions where we can improve both properties. And one of the suggestions they made was to remove those 2 very large trees behind 9 and 18 green. Those trees, the root system continues to grow, and we're having problems with the backsides of both those greens, and we feel that it was because of those 2 trees taking the moisture and the nutrients out where it's intended for the green. And also there were such big trees that when the sun would come up in the east, it'd be well after noon before the sun would actually hit those greens. And when you're a high traffic golf course like we are, and you're trying to plant new seed in a kind of a rough part of the green, the foot traffic is really a problem. But now that the sun will be able to hit that earlier in the day, we feel like the golf course is going to be fantastic again.
Is that the tree, one of those trees that hangs over the cart path what's the inside? Is that 9, or I get mixed up on which is which?
Well, they're behind, I believe that there were 2 ash trees and 2 locust trees, and those are the ones we took out. But they're right behind to the east side of both 9 and 18.
Okay, 9 is the outside, and 18 is the inside. Okay.
Yep, correct.
You could take that one out on 18 too, but anyway.
Yes. Yeah, we do.
Let me ask you a question. And
yes,
it's
Bob.
probably never going to happen, but would you be opposed to another water hazard on, again, I get confused. What's the driving range? Is that 10?
That's 10 now, yeah.
So 10, 11, would you be opposed to another water hazard way on the southwest side?
Southwest side of...
Over by the ballparks, kind of in between.
Over there? I guess I never thought of putting a water hazard. Was that a suggestion that someone made you, that they'd like to see another hazard put in there?
No, suggesting somebody may need a development, need a storage pond.
Yeah. Well, it's something we can certainly think about, but we'd never considered that before. But
I mean, it would be out of play pretty much, and unless you're somebody bad like Dan.
Right behind the baseball fields is where you're talking.
Out of play for most of them.
Right behind the baseball fields, between.
Kind of, yeah, right in
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a no-mow area. It's
right.
not often that golf balls would get into that area. It's so far left.
Right.
But it'd be kind of a cool water feature for the baseball field too. Get a home run hitter and put it in the lake.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun.
Okay. Well, again, it's down the road. But
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, questions?
I was just curious, I think I've asked this question too last year as well. Just talk to me about overall use and what you saw as far as numbers and how things are looking. I know after COVID, obviously there was a surge in golfing and different things like that, but just wondered where your numbers were.
Well, you can see on our P&L statement, we, every year it's just getting more. We generated over $1.7 million in revenue this past year, and it wasn't that long. 5 years ago, we weren't even at $1 million. So, but yeah, and COVID was detrimental and devastating to most business, but golf is one of those few businesses that I hate to say it, but I mean, benefited from it. And we saw lots of new faces, and my goal with my employees is when we get these new faces in, I mean, the key is to retain them. And I feel that our customer service down at Green Valley is unparalleled. We have lots of outings. We have the Local 7, or I guess they were here. Local 7, they'll be having the 25th. I've been there 25 years now. I've had them, and they've been there for 25 years. So Green Valley continues to be, Siouxland's place to play. That's kind of our motto down there. We want to be able to provide, the absolute best golf and still economical for the people of Siouxland to play. I'm going to Arizona in a couple of weeks, and we're playing a couple of courses. I mean, it's $200 a round every time you go out there. But here it's still right about $50 for 18 holes in cart, and that it wasn't that long ago. Golf Digest ranked this area the #1 area in the country for value golf. What doesn't mean the cheapest golf is the best golf for the money in the country is right here in Sioux City. So I'm proud of that.
Scott, I've evidenced that and have seen the excellent customer service you have on golf outings. It's incredibly good. So thank you.
Appreciate that very much, Dan. Thank you.
And everybody they have a better time because of that.
Yeah. I appreciate that very much.
Appreciate it, Scott, very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Citizen concerns. Any citizen be heard, please come forward and state your name and address, please.
I think in the back. Bob.
Okay. Hang on, just come on up, Sharon. Mike, can you pull that microphone down for her? Can you pull that mic down? Can you pull the mic down for her? Go right over here, Sharon. Thank you, John.
Okay. My name's Sharon French. I have an issue with snow removal.
Sharon, address just for the record.
Oh, address?
Yeah.
I'm 2105 Beck Street.
There you go. Okay.
But my issue relates to 2 vacant lots behind my house, 1707 Florence Avenue and 1819 Florence Avenue. After this third snowfall, I was not able to get the snow removed, and I got charged $647 for snow removal. And to me, that seemed pretty outrageous. I've been to the city inspector's office. Now, Alex, I know you had an interview with Matt Hoffman. There is no appeal process to appeal the fees that I was charged. Neighbor, whose land abuts to those sidewalks, he has 280 feet, and he just had snow removal done this year for $280. I have 230 feet compared to his 280, and I got a bill for $647.
His was a city bill as well? He got charged?
I got a copy of it. Yep.
Yeah.
So there is no appeal process, and to me that's pretty outrageous when my property taxes are only $90 more. It's not like I didn't make an effort. We had a Bob skid loader that broke from doing concrete work in November. Had a snow blower on order from Bernie's Garden Center, which when it came in was damaged. I even got the bill of sale for it. It took them 3 weeks to get it fixed and get it to me. So I missed the third snow removal. And I think I've got pictures that show that as well on January 30th that some of that snow was melting. So I guess you need to be aware of the outrageous charges. They said there's just a standard fee when I met with them in the inspection's office. Same thing I got billed for.
What did they say about the 2 different houses?
What?
Your neighbor and yours, what did they say?
The neighbor, they gave me a copy. Rocky had told us that he had gotten charged for snow removal as well.
Right, but I mean, didn't they tell you why you're?
They said there was a complaint called in.
No. He's talking about the discrepancy in total bill.
Oh, the discrepancy? No, because they told me it's based on square footage and the depth of snow, and you could see that the snow was less than 12 inches on the pictures that I received. And like I said, the square footage, I had less than him, and they said they just bill at a standard rate per sidewalk. So like I said, and a difference, I don't know. So I just think that's a little bit excessive. When I've made every effort, I kept my sidewalks clear at 2105 Beck Street, where the kids get off the bus route and come down the street. Those 2 vacant lots are behind kids. There's no bus route there. They don't get off and usually walk that area. So my son, who usually helps me, was out of town. Thank goodness the neighbor guy helped me, because I kept 2105 Beck Street clear for the kids getting off the bus route. But the lot to the north of me was not kept clear, neither one of those that go up to the bus route. I guess they tell me it's just a random pick and choose, and if I had a complaint, then I'm responsible. But it's not like I have ever had a complaint for snow removal on those lots. There is no history. We've always kept them clear. And this year was just exceptional with all the snow, I admit it. And we just had one issue after the next with skid loader breaking, son out of town, and my new snow blower that I'd ordered from Bernie's Lawn and Garden didn't come in good shape and had to be repaired. I do now have it for the next snowfall coming up, but I still think that is ridiculous. I don't want to take up your time, but you need to be aware of what they're charging, and maybe you're not.
Yeah, I'm glad you raised the questions, and you're actually making a case for hardship cases where situations are going to be different. We don't want to get into thousands of those, but still, there's some problems. I don't know how to answer that right now, to be real transparent with you. I'd look to the city manager for some guidance on that.
I did my own snow removal. Every time they plowed my driveway in, I went out there in my wheelchair and I shoveled it out on my own. You know.
And I can speak a little bit to it too, because I gave that interview because I was trying to do my homework and look into it as well.
Yeah, some of your stuff I've got flagged. I didn't agree with Alex. So like I said, I've always been very responsible, knew where the bus route was, where the kids came. We've always kept our sidewalks clear at 2105 Beck Street where the kids get off of the corner.
And I don't disagree with you. I mean, I'm sure that you have. You know, I was just saying that basically we can't pick and choose of who gets complaint on what sidewalk. And I use the example of myself, is that my sidewalk never had kids and no one was ever going to the bus stop, but I always hired someone or had someone that would help me clear that to make sure of it. And now I have kids that use it and that they moved into the neighborhood, but they have to go based off of those complaints. And then I didn't even understand, Mayor, that there is a calculation based upon, and you're exactly right, of kind of how much they charge of as far as how many feet or how far it is, but then also how much snowfall there has been, like how much snowfall there has been of what they're moving. And so that's the ultimate calculation. But I agree with you that it's like, I just wonder, I don't have the bill, but I mean, I would guess that we could ask that.
They're here.
Yeah.
I brought them with me because I
No, but I meant as far as the comparing from you and your neighbor and stuff like that.
And the pictures show that the snow had been melting. They didn't even, I mean, it'd been melting. We'd been watching it, be waiting for the snow blower to come in. And so didn't know there was an issue, was never notified there was an issue with snow removal on those two bare lots.
Well, and that's where they provide notice. I mean, they had to go out and provide notice.
No, Alex, I never got notice. They said they would have brought it to my front door. I have a Ring camera and I have a house full of dogs that would have been my bark, that do my bark control. So no, I did not get notice that there was an issue with snow removal, or I would have figured it out. And I did try to contact a snow removal place, but he wouldn't come to Riverside. So Aaron wouldn't come out there and do snow removal. So
Bob, can you get with her, get her phone number and tell us why the difference in the price?
Yeah. As she mentioned, it has to do with the depth of the snow and the length of the...
That doesn't make sense. I mean, how could the neighbor have less snow than her?
Well, but it would be if it was the different part of the sidewalk or a different time of when, if it was a different week, but I'm not sure what.
yes, I did find, Rocky had told us when he did the interview with Matt that it was the same time, and I did find out today, they couldn't find one for that date, and it was January 4th. But January 4th, after that first snowfall, we had just as much as we did after the third one, when the sidewalks had already been cleared. So I still don't understand.
Ma'am, how much was that single it was a single lot?
No, I have,
you have two, the other person has one lot?
Rocky's house sits on one lot.
And how much was theirs?
His was for $280, and he has 280 feet of sidewalk removal, and he had 280. Mine, like I said, I have a total with the two lots combined, I have 231 feet, and I got billed $647 total.
I do know that $200, I believe $200 is the administrative markup that we've offered to waive.
Offered to waive, but that's still $447 is ridiculous.
I will get the calculation of how we came up, how that.
Well, I've already, they keep explaining it the same way. They charge, like they said, $33 per sidewalk square, just like I had to pay for the permit this summer to replace the sidewalks out there that they wanted replaced. So if they charge at the same rate, they said, and depth of the snow, but the pictures again, you can see there was already grass present, And some of the side, I mean, the snow was melted down enough that I can't believe they thought there was still 24 inches of snow there. I don't know
And that's
if
just
what
it
they were
too. I
basing
wonder
it on.
what that calculation was. Yeah,
I'm
if it said.
Let us look into it, Sharon, and we'll have Bob get
I
back.
appreciate it. I'm having a hard time paying this when I'm trying to do property taxes.
Right.
And I think it's an outrageous rate,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, Mike Phelps at 4444 Dace Avenue. Since you brought up the subject of snow, the city was good enough to go ahead and work on South Hennepin and South Cleveland. And since they did that, we're still moving all the snow up there on them streets. So I know in 1981, I think it was, when someone, I can't remember the last name, but anyway, they went ahead and they were going to gate it off. And so the city didn't have to take care of it. Well, since all the neighbors moved that were there, and right now they do go halfway on Egbert up to South Hennepin, would it be possible that they go ahead and take the maintainer and just go a little bit further to go ahead and remove the snow up there?
I think you're almost going to have to, Bob, because he wanted to take over all that, and we told him he couldn't, and I understand why, but the city should at least push the snow if we're going to say we don't want to close it. I don't know why we wouldn't. We do everywhere else, so we'll see if we can get that added.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just know that it's been designated an unmaintained street. And it has been since the 80s, I believe, it's been designated as an unmaintained street. We went out there and rubblized it just so that it would be passable, but with the understanding that we wouldn't maintain it after that.
So why?
We'll look into it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. You ladies got anything? Okay. Matthew?
Nothing today.
Okay. Julie?
Oh, my gosh. Nothing that really comes to mind. I just had a great Super Bowl weekend. I don't know how people feel about that, but it was a great last quarter. I appreciated that. I'm just looking forward to a lot of projects coming up. We're working on the budget. I want everybody to know that we're doing our best to hold the line, to be very fiscally responsible. We'll have our first budget meeting this Saturday coming up, so tune in if you'd like.
No, the only thing you got a comment? What is Go
ahead.
All right. The only thing I was going to say was it was just a really busy weekend in Siouxland, which was pretty exciting. A lot of people coming into town for various events. I know Steins and Vines was going on. I think that was pretty busy. And then also the rodeo was in town, and they had a pretty great showing there. And then lastly, there was a sold-out show at the Hard Rock, and I went to have supper down on 4th Street Saturday night, and you could hardly find a table in just about any restaurant. So it was great and I think we even had some athletic tournaments in town too. So it was a pretty great weekend, and glad to see a lot of those places full and doing well, especially in downtown. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Mayor, I have a couple of things. Tomorrow at 2:00 p.m., the Woodbury County Law Enforcement Center Authority Board will be meeting, and on our agenda is a discussion about the use of the maintenance fund by the county. And so I'm looking forward to that discussion, but if you'll all recall, the Mayor in particular, having a maintenance fund for our facility, for the Law Enforcement Center, is extremely important, because one thing that we did when we worked with the county, the city and county worked well together, but we made a commitment that we needed to have a maintenance fund for years out, so that if something would happen to that facility or needed some really big improvements like the current one needs, the money would be there. And so
is that part of your agreement?
That's part of our agreement. That's part of the lease, yes.
Well, then they have to pay it.
Yeah, that's part of the lease, so.
You're an attorney, counselor. You'll have to remind them what contractual law means.
Yeah, yes. I'm looking forward to that. The second item, I just wanted to give you a heads up on it because it's depends on the spin that you put on it that you, when you go public on something like this, but it's 2 o'clock tomorrow. The second item I have, second and last, I need some help with, I'm getting questions from the media, which I welcome, about the library board, the new proposed law that Helen Rigdon
Seen with that,
sent us in.
that solution looking for a problem?
Well, that's the way I read it. But I haven't read the bills. I don't know if I like to be prepared when I talk to the media about something like this. So I don't know if the rest of you have had a chance to read the bills that Helen, I think Helen included the actual study bills. But is there someone that's well-versed that I can pass?
Helen.
I mean, Helen
Just
can
have 'em call
inform
Helen.
you, about what it is. It's essentially, they're just trying to find,
Unfortunately, I did not, I have just been really busy. I'm not making that as an excuse, but that's the reality. So I haven't even had, I don't know if any of you had a chance to respond to her questionnaire that she had sent all of us and wanted an answer, I think, by 4 o'clock today.
well, they were saying, I
And I
don't think
just
there was a
can't-
questionnaire.
Library boards
It was
are
whether you wanted to sign a
established by state
petition.
law, not by city law. And they're trying to change that so that you have more control over the library. And maybe in other communities, that's a problem. In all my years of city government, I've never experienced a problem that the library wasn't responsive to changing it.
That's been my experience, too.
And it just.
But I
like
think
said,
what they're
it's a
trying to-
solution looking for a problem that doesn't exist. That's all it is.
Okay, I'll have them contact Helen.
Alex, what's your comment?
No, I was just going to say, they're trying to find a workaround to, if a library wants to push back and allow books in their public library that they can't ban, then they can go through a city council. And if they have a council or local entity that has more of an appetite to ban books, then they feel they'll have more control. They're just trying to do that.
Well, and they're also trying to make local government elections partisan, which would be the worst thing that could happen. But,
That's all I have.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Shaner?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
O'Kane?
Aye.
Amen.
Julie, after we talked to.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought you said a questionnaire. That's why I was
Then you,
asking.
Yeah, no,
Saturday.
it did.
Remember you were
Set
saying.
it up for him to use.
Yeah.
Sent them a text.
Burger, they had like 3 things.
Something, yeah.
Dang it, and
I didn't really like the
change it.
No, you're good. What?
Yeah.
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 Saying that you're against that study bill or that proposed.
We've had that before, for a
So, I don't know if you've paid them yet, but you're.
wondering,
Oh, well.
like, fast to get that done. I mean,